Bam! We just got done with Backlash, another pay-per-view that WWE took a napkin and went, pay-per-view. So now WWE has taken the brands and split it up. And now SmackDown gets its own pay-per-views. Monday Night Raw gets its own little pay-per-views. So now what does this mean? Monday Night Raw is going to have their own toilet paper, and SmackDown's going to have their own toilet paper, which they wipe their butts with the brand name and logo.
For fans of the other program, maybe? Like if you're a big fan of SmackDown, you'll buy the one. And if you're a big fan of Raw, you'll buy the SmackDown toilet paper. Is that the idea?
Yeah. We just gave WWE an idea how to sell toilet paper, and they're going to sell it for $13 a roll. Oh, my gosh.
Well, actually,
geez.
I mean, WWE has sold shower soap, talking shower soap in the Attitude Era. Like when it was like, wash your smelly candy ass.
People in the chat are asking, where is Jared? Specifically to myself. I don't know, dank meme. Tommy, where is Jared?
Jared is off with his off somewhere else. He's not always by my side all the time.
You'll never find him. Okay, anyway.
Brought me in to cover for Jared.
Yeah, we got a third version. Let's get started in here. Dank Bean repeats the question. Don't know.
Feel free to introduce me at any point.
All right, no, we'll just call him the spoiler, or like the masked superstar. All right, masked superstar. What did you think of the women's match?
I'll have to be honest. I was out for a lot of the pay-per-view, and so that might affect my opinion of it. But the bits I saw, I quite enjoyed. I saw the women's match in its entirety, and I did rather enjoy that one. And I sort of came in towards the end, so I saw a large portion of the main event, and I also went back and saw Heath Slater and Rhino win the championship. So overall, those three matches were pretty good, so I thought the pay-per-view was pretty good. I can't really speak for whatever happened for the rest of the 2.5 hours or however long it was.
3 hours total. If you guys have your opinions, though, let us know what your favorite match was on the card and why.
Well, clearly everyone's going to say Apollo Crews.
Does that count? Does that count?
It never counts in wrestling.
Does anyone watch that? If you watched the Apollo Crews Baron Corbin match, let us know, because I'm curious as to how many people actually do that. Go ahead, Tommy.
I thought was one of the most interesting parts was where Rhino is sitting there, and the other guy's giving the promo, and Rhino's just sitting there like, I'm confused. What's going on here? And this kind of the comedy, how Rhino's kind of like a tad bit slow, and he's like, and then the other guy starts talking, the one-man band. He's just like, geez, man, I was eating this shrimp stuff, but, man, I had bad diarrhea. It did some bad stuff to my stomach. And then Rhino's like, dude, we're still live. That was like, huh?
You enjoyed that? I thought that was kind of juvenile and not that funny, but I just understand what the love is for Heath Slater. I don't get it. Like, all of a sudden, he's, like, their favorite guy. I mean,
yeah,
I like bad, but, like, I mean, could you explain what was the vibe?
As a fan of Heath Slater right now, like,
can you imagine trying to push a dildo, in the center of the ring, and they're just like, yeah, like this dildo. This is a nice dildo. Come look at it. This is very nice. This is kind of lackluster, but let's push it because, we need to push this. Wrestlers like Zack Ryder need more of a chance in his single matches and actually get a shot actually to be champion at some point.
Just one quick moment. Sage Powell says, Dayman, fighter of the Nightman. I appreciate that reference very much.
Also,
anyway.
They did have something similar called to the giant dildos. It was the Johnsons in TNA.
But TNA doesn't count as wrestling. And that's not the WWE. I don't know. I didn't think Zack Ryder was that bad, to be honest.
And he did.
I thought his work was correct. It wasn't the best work ever, but he did manage to, like, when he hit a drop kick, I saw both feet, crank into the guy's chest. And when dude hit like that jumping Vader attack thing in the corner, his partner, he really crashed into him. So even though it's basic, it still looked very I guess, eye-catching and realistic. It wasn't sloppy wrestling in my opinion. But why don't you in the chat? What do you guys think about Zach and his new partner?
But I tell you what, sometimes when I'm watching a pay-per-view, when I ever have guests over, I'll do my best to watch the pay-per-view, entertain my guests, give them snacks or anything like that. And I crank my head around the side of the wall just to see what's going on. And sometimes I can watch the pay-per-views, but I go back and forth of entertaining my guests. You know what I mean, Judd?
Sure, I understand what that means, but what does it have to do with Zach? Is that the match you chose to entertain your guest with? Well, so Zack Ryder, it's time to take a break.
Well, I thought Zach did a good job, but I thought it was ridiculous that they would lose to the Usos, honestly. But the Usos are still good, but Ryder just needs to break off from these tag teams and get back to single matches because I think that he's a way better wrestler. And I think one of the things is he's getting paid too much money to lose. These wrestlers, they get put on the card and say, you're going to lose each night, but you'll get paid decent money. I think it's really ridiculous at the fact that, I've heard that wrestlers that lose get paid more money than the wrestlers that win.
What is that? The exact opposite of what Ryback's argument was that the wrestlers that win get over and they get more merch sales. I know that for some guys who are really talented, they bring them the WWE has been known to have wrestlers who they don't want to push. They have no interest in bringing up, but they also don't want the competition to have them. Like historically, Ricky Steamboat, when he was known as the Dragon, that was less because we really need to have Ricky Steamboat. It was more sort of, oh, geez, we need to make sure WCW doesn't have Ricky Steamboat. So, and to get back, it's like the same thing nowadays with guys like Cody Rhodes when he was Stardust and Alberto Del Rio. These are guys who are very valuable, but they're not being used to their full potential. And that's one of the reasons why I think the brand split was a good idea. Because would you ever have Rhino and Heath Slater challenging for the tag team championships if they had to go up against the New Day? You wouldn't. This is just creating more opportunity for more people. So especially now that the WWE is has so little competition and they have such a talented stacked roster compared to everyone else, I don't think it's a bad idea to split the rosters, and that way you have twice as many opportunities.
Now, do you think that WWE is wasting Rhino's time by sticking him with the lackluster tag team?
No, I think Rhino had nothing going on whatsoever, and this was the call he was waiting for.
He was being used down in NXT for whenever they needed to have didn't he have a feud with Baron? No, he tagged with Baron Corbin, right? For a bit, and then he just showed up on occasion. What is the last match I remember him being in before this whole Heath Slater thing is Rhino versus Heath Slater.
But one thing is, speaking about NXT, there's a particular guy that's down in NXT right now that's from that exact same company, TNA, and he left TNA to come to WWE, and now he's just been sitting at NXT. When are we going to see that guy come?
Which guy? Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah, you're going to be way more specific.
Austin Aries, Bobby Roode.
Maybe give a description. What does he look like?
Kind of big guy. Everybody's
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, yes. When is Samoa Joe going to make his debut in the WWE TV,
In a perfect world, I don't know, up against Brock Lesnar or something with Paul Heyman as his manager saying, he's a Samoan or something. I don't know. I think he's going to do what Finn Balor and what the other and Kevin Owens have done, which is they sort of have the run as champion, and then after they have their run, they have a couple of rematches with whoever the new champion is. So Nakamura, they lose, and then they go up, get promoted to the main roster. That way you have the guy down in NXT, he's solidified himself as a main eventer. Not that Shinsuke Nakamura needs any solidification, but it doesn't really hurt Joe, and then Joe's up on the main roster.
I guess I'm really excited with the people they have now. I like the women's match. I liked Alexa Bliss's work. Bliss, if anyone's wondering, did not rip off Harley Quinn. She ripped off CMLL's Estrelita. So if you look up Little Star in Spanish and then CMLL, you'll get this girl's haircut from tonight. But she was cool. I think it's cool because she's so tiny that she can actually but you have to speak up, dude. Back up. You have to get close to the mic. Also, so just a second. She's also so tiny that she can work super stiff. Like she's able to put, like actually when she was countering Becky's arm lock, she actually just grabbed her really snug and threw her. And I thought that it worked, worked for her. And I thought it was really cool because she almost pinned Becky, and it took a ridiculous move to put her over. I think of all the women she got over in the first match, and I thought the one they were trying to get over, which is Naomi, didn't really work too well. All right.
I liked Alyssa. Sorry, I like Alyssa's work as well. What I like about her thing is her little throwing a tantrum thing. She's really good at it. And the other thing is, from the story of a match ring psychology point of view, she was trying to pin everybody. Like there was a moment in the match where I think if you went through like a statistician and took a look at all the pinfall attempts, Alexa Bliss must have had almost all of them. And like she went for a pin on everybody before anybody attempted a pin. Also, random non sequitur. During Nikki Bella's entrance, she wears a thing and then she rips it off and throws it to the crowd. But the person who caught it was like, what is this? What is this? I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Anyhow.
Honestly, one of the things I hate about WWE that really ticks me off is, honestly, in a wrestling match, you're supposed to beat the snot out of your opponent and make sure they're crippled on the ground, and then you pin them. You don't just give a boom punch in the face and then you try to pin them. You actually go and destroy your opponent in the ring before you even try to pin that person because they're going to kick out. And I really think Vince McMahon is like, okay, try and pinning him, giving a good punch in the face, and then give him a pin. They'll kick out, punch him in the face, kick out. It's very entertaining. Well, no, lay out your opponent and then pin them.
Well, the only thing is, for the Divas match in particular, it's a 6-pack challenge, so you don't really have that sort of.
Well, women's division, dude. Women's, we have to be proper. Women's division.
Sorry. Although half of them were on Total Divas at one point, so it's still women's division. You still you still have the 4 horsewomen in it. So yes, it's the women's division. Apologize, and that was my favorite match of the night. So here's them. But in a 6-pack challenge match for kayfabe purposes, you can often get away with a quick roll up or something like that, and you don't really have a lot of time. If you're working over on somebody, somebody's going to come in behind. You've got 4 other competitors.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The only thing really bad with it was the slap that was done to Carmella, just to kind of show off, like, the great job the makeup team did. And then Bliss used the Bass Root and clothesline, which I like, where you just like straighten out your forearm and just smash somebody. And then Becky looked like Lara Croft. And the final point was that when she said Becky Balboa and said thank you at the end of the interviewer, like it seemed really genuine. I think she's like a classic babyface. I don't think she'll be booed in a long, long time. Anyways.
Yeah, I didn't like Carmella that much, especially towards the end. Like the slap thing did not make much sense to me. If you want to set up a feud between Nikki and Carmella, then have Carmella be a bit too like antsy, like pushing Nikki out of the ring, and then have Nikki hit her with a forearm. With a slap, it's like, and she kept going on like, she slapped me. Can you believe me? It's a wrestling match. Yes, in fact, that's you're lucky you didn't get a forearm or gore or like
a kick to the face.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that the Divas? Now, do you think the women's division has been, because they've noticed that they've referenced the era of Diva, and do you think that that era is over now, or do you think people will still reference the Diva era and still call the women's division the Divas division?
think you can't really avoid it when you have a TV show on E called Total Divas, and when many of your rosters were former Divas champion, and also with Carmella's slaps were atrocious. They were, yeah. I mean, there's like if you want to actually be like stiff and like slap won't cause permanent damage to your face. You can actually like you don't need to like I mean you don't have to go full tilt, but you can make some contact. You don't need to do like Shane McMahon like punches with. The slaps are not very good.
Anyway, let's move on to the next one. What was the second match there? It was, it was Ziggler, right? Was it Ziggler and Miz? No,
it was something else.
Uso, and Hype Bros, right? Jimmy looks like the girl from Audition, Jimmy Uso, with like the different outfit. Anyway,
I don't know that reference.
Never mind. Look it up.
I do like how the Usos are finally wearing different clothing from each other, so you can actually tell them apart. Yes, I know one of them had Jimmy and one of them had Jay on the side, but I mean, you lose track of that in a match, and it's nice to finally have them heel, just for variety.
All right.
Fair enough. That pretty much sums up the thing.
All right. So anyway, people are asking about. So anyway, so back to this. Anyway, and I like that they attacked their foot, and Mauro, what's his face, mentioned that it's illegal in football to do that. Anyway, Jose Sanders Journey says, "I'm effing hungry. We're gonna eat something, buddy." Two ordinary kids say hi. Hi. Anyway, on to this. They mentioned the Usos were the king of the double teams, but they've only been heel for like a minute, right? Anyway, I'm like the
Revival.
Yeah, Revival is the king of a double teams. Like they're not a heel team,
Good.
but that's their whole shtick is that they attack you in a double team format, whereas the Usos seem like two individual wrestlers wrestling as a team somewhat. I don't know. But yeah, I like the arm trap leg Canadian Maple Leaf or single leg Boston Crab. That's a cool move to me. Let's move on though. Let's do Miz and Ziggler pants. What do you think of that?
I did not see this match, and I have no idea.
Well,
Please
guess. If you had to
Please
guess.
tell me the never-ending Miz show keeps going, because the WWE sometimes has a history of when a person.
Would you stop mumbling and speak in the mic?
Sorry, the WWE has a history of when somebody unleashes a killer, career-defining promo that makes everyone stand up and take notice, they have them lose the next title match. Like with Mark Henry when his retirement speech against John Cena. And I was just worried that maybe the WWE is like, yes, everyone wants the Miz to win now, so he can be the next Honky Tonk Man. Let's have him lose. It's like, So, yeah. But then again, he's also facing Ziggler, so I'm going to guess Miz won. I'm not even sure. Possibly even clean.
Are we missing Tommy? We are missing Tommy. All right, then. We'll just have to keep talking to you guys in the chat. Yes, Brandon, I did say stop mumbling and speak in the mic. It's part of life. But I didn't talk of a bell thing. I'm subbed him, but I didn't talk. What's the bell thing even do? Quentin tells Brandon to be quiet. All right, guys, relax. On to this. What do you guys think of the Miz and Ziggler, and even Daniel Bryan's comments that the Miz isn't really into wrestling? He just wants to wrestle to be famous and walk the red carpet.
Judd. I'm sorry, I was doing something real quickly. I had to get off, do something real quickly.
No worries.
But
yeah, I know. Brandon had escaped his restraints, or what's his name? Jared had escaped the restraints. It's part of life.
No, Jared's not even here. Like I was taking care of something.
You'll never see him again. I imagine like that guy in Breaking Bad who's like chained to the pipe. Anyway.
I have to say that I thought Ziggler deserved to win the title tonight, and I thought he put a very good effort. And I think The Miz just needs to leave WWE and just go into Hollywood and just keep making horrible movies and just stay out of the WWE. Some wrestlers, I think, that should just honestly stay with the whole gist of being a Hollywood actor. Like The Rock should just stay in Hollywood.
Dallas Coolness says Tommy is awesome. Read this, ha ha ha, including the ha ha ha. Also, Horrible Harry wants to get an update on how you are feeling, Tommy.
And John Adams says hi.
I'm feeling okay. I just kind of, I've been feeling better. I just kind of just had a moment of just flusteredness, and I just let it out. Just a second. You guys can keep talking. I'm just.
Hey, do what you got to do. Okay, so yeah, but the thing is, interesting note: both the Miz and Dolph Ziggler have both starred in WWE films. So the question is, has anybody who's listening right now seen any films with either the Miz or Dolph Ziggler? And you can count the Chicken Little adverts. That does not count.
Yeah, if you've managed to see a movie with Dolph Ziggler or the Miz, we sincerely want to hear from you. I'm not even kidding you, because I've avoided those. You have to go out of your way. It's like contracting scurvy. You'd have to go out of your way to acquire them. Anyway, all right. The Miz was cool. I like that the Miz cut this defining promo and then didn't win. I was going to win. I could wreck my test if I wanted to, but I don't want any energy because it would be so easy. Brandon, have you ever heard Kathleen Madigan's speech stand up about how skinny people would say they'll take a punch from Mike Tyson for $1 million? And then she's like, yeah, but you end up brain damaged. It's pretty good. Or the song, I think I could fight Mike Tyson by, was it Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith? Nonetheless, speaking of people who think they can fight, did anyone catch CM Punk? By the way, anyone catch CM Punk last night? Anyone else watch UFC 203?
Yes.
No.
Mickey Gall caught CM Punk with a takedown. Yeah, Mickey Gall caught CM Punk with a takedown, and that's pretty much the fight.
So pretty much CM Punk got his face bashed in and lost.
No, not right? Ish. No, he already came in with like 2 cauliflower ears, and after Homeboy did a bit of ground and pound, which CM Punk actually kind of avoided a little bit. He was more jiu-jitsu heavy, and he tried to put him in a lion killer or a back choke, a rear naked choke it's called, and then CM Punk actually incredibly got out of it, because that still impresses me. Like that he got out of any submission holds.
I mean, he got put back into it about 15 seconds after getting out of it, but the point is he got out, and he lasted for 2 minutes. So yeah. So for anybody who says that he wouldn't last a minute in a UFC ring, he lasted 2. So, and he wants to do it again. So kudos to Punk, I guess. Keep chasing your dreams.
How long he lasts, you know. What's his face? Batista tried to do it, but he didn't do so well at it. You know,
he won.
He won.
Yeah, he won. He did very well. He's got 100%. He's undefeated in the cage.
Well, with him, he was going to fight somebody, I think, and then that person had a drug violation. So they're like, who can we find on short notice? And there's this guy who has a pretty terrible record in fights, but he was the only guy they had around. So Batista gave it a good old college try and won by stoppage in like the second or something. And then it was like, yeah, no, never doing that again. But yeah, I mean, give it a try. I mean, he did it on the amateur level. He didn't do it on a UFC fight card.
Someone's asking, how fast can he run? Who are you referring to, guys? Anyway, Wendy's speed. What's Wendy's speed? All right. What's up? Hi, Tommy. Oh, my God. Says Austin or Daz. James, why would you want to be naked and give a guy a chokehold? I don't know why they call it that, Jose Sanders, Jared. Honest to goodness. Because it does nothing. I think it refers to the in jiu-jitsu or in judo, there's a bunch of what they call collar chokes, like chokes that specifically utilize the gi. And so the naked choke, the name is I know that's what it said. The naked chokehold is basically meaning like without using the gi. So it's a translation, right? It's kind of like plain or like a hot dog or like a plain piece of pizza, but the translation then ends up do you remember Bobo Magoo? Sorry, stopping everything. Asks, does anyone remember the hottest and smelliest fart you ever cut? That is a great chat question. What is the worst fart you ever encountered? or the worst area you ever encountered into it. Richard Strigan is got a thumbs down. If you have a story, Tommy, I'd love to hear it.
I think the smelliest one Tommy would ever have encountered would be WWE Backlash or some other WWE. Actually, I found this one to be better than Raw's. So I think that's what the WWE is going for now. There's just too much wrestling. Like just for hours you have to watch in a day of WWE programming. There is just simply too much. So I think what they're kind of hoping for is just people pick a program they like and watch that and maybe catch the highlights of another thing. So that there's something, so like if you're off on Tuesdays, you watch SmackDown, or if you watch Raw, or maybe you catch the highlights. Just something so that the casual viewer who, like, I don't know, maybe you're not.
I guess I would say I kind of just watch Raw at times because I kind of,
Like
I
Raw?
don't really much like SmackDown, but I do like, Raw.
Oh,
But,
we differ. I'm more of a fan of SmackDown over Raw personally. I just like, for whatever reason, one, the color scheme, I just find it less jarring. Like, I know everything's red, but it's just so much. And the other thing as well with SmackDown is I find the different wrestlers they have, like the way they have John Cena, they have AJ Styles, they have these Randy Orton, so like the old school big names, and they have a lot of young up and comers as well. Whereas I think with Raw, it's some new guys as well, like, but they're people who have been around for a couple years now. Like,
You're boring me now. You're just like, you sound like an awful professor of wrestling.
I apologize. Let's move on to the next match.
All right. So anyway, Bobo, Jose Sanders says eating gumbo produces the worst smelling farts.
That's seafood, and yes, that's seafood and spice in a soup mix. I can see how that would pan out.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you were gonna make like an ultimate neutron bomb for your ass, that's probably it. Like shrimp and spice, and if it's rancid or rotten, then you're in a real bad way. I remember once I was in a car once when someone had a new car and we were going for a drive and they farted and then kept the windows closed. So I was pawing at the window. That was probably the worst one. I thought I was going to die. Anyway, that was probably the worst one for me. It was mostly the context. It was like one of those protein farts. It's the worst thing ever. It is hard to describe the smell of a fart. You have to kind of have been there. Bobo Magoo makes a very good point. Anyway, yeah, let's move on. Anyway, let's go on to Bray versus also Mero what's his face got one of the wrong moves up. He called a Cruceta Tapatia a modified surfboard, which it is, but it's a leg lock surfboard or a Cavernario. Anyway, depending on how you want to call it. Vince McMahon's not here to tell me what to do.
Yeah, that's the thing I was wondering. I was like, him saying all the names of the moves. I was like, isn't Vince telling them to don't say the names of the moves? No one cares. Like, you're supposed to say, like, for example, what's the thing the Usos say where they took him, drove him straight down, and it's like a judo throw. I was like, you can just say you slams him down. I mean, if you do something fancy with aerial stuff, sure, I want to hear the name of it. But if it's just a slam, you can just say slam. Cool.
Alrighty. Anyway, Bray versus Orton. Do you like Randy Orton, Tommy? Are you there?
Yes, I thought Randy Orton was decent, but I think this is a time I think Randy Orton's getting ready to retire. It kind of shows you that, he goes up against Lesnar, gets his head busted open, and next thing you know, he's getting his leg nailed in with the door by, Wyatt. And I think he's showing signs of, just getting rugged. And, and it's interesting, after 9 months, he comes back and he's showing signs that I think he just wants to retire and sit back on his money and raise his family. A lot of wrestlers want to do that a lot of times. And I think this is the last we're probably going to see of Orton for a while. This is probably, after this time, Orton's going to get another injury, and then we're not going to see Orton. Then Orton's going to come back and say, well, I have to retire. a lot of these guys that are back from the day, you know, they're not going to last. I have to figure, because a lot of them have old injuries, and they still kind of lag around. Like the shoulder injury with Randy, you know, that's still kind of like waves around a lot, you know, in his wrestling.
Is that it? Is that the reason? Because like I was like, they hyped this match up, so I know this wasn't their original goal. I don't think was to like mess around, but yeah, no, but I mean for real, I don't think it was. Yeah, and you know, but yeah, the only thing real, Brian Blaze makes a good point. The only thing real in wrestling are the injuries. They actually say the money and the miles, but yeah, the injuries as well. Anyway, the point being, yeah, because this match wasn't like a throwaway match to get heat on, you know, Bray and have him be like, oh my God, like when Fandango was like, you're not saying my name, I'm out. So they built this up, and then Orton wasn't there. And I'm like, all right, well, what's the reasoning, you know?
Probably an actual injury, and like Tommy said, these guys don't last forever.
No, they don't. And it's funny because it's like, okay, you know, what is Orton waiting for? You know, like, why is it that we have to wait for 9 months to see Orton get his butt kicked and have bad writing done for him? And then basically, oh yeah, by the way, I'm retiring now.
I don't think he's going to retire soon. I think I think he'll come back. The thing as well you have to keep in mind is, even if it's just for a part-timer schedule, like Batista's come back, and if he does have an injury that's serious enough that he has to retire, then how crazy is it that The Undertaker will have outlasted Randy Orton? I mean, who would have predicted that at when he was facing him in WrestleMania? Like
it's kind of interesting. Most, like, all these wrestlers that are you know, suddenly retiring and not showing their faces that much, that Undertaker is making much more an appearance. Give it that he appears once a year for WrestleMania and wrestles one match and then takes his big check and then walks home and doesn't wrestle for the rest of the year, you know. And you know, I have major cred for Undertaker because he is such a well-prestiged professional wrestler, and you know, he has carried The Undertaker for a long time. That man has not changed his character since he did come out as Kane, and then that was a dark match, and then he came out as Undertaker.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, but I mean, Kane, and that was the other thing too about this is they're like, all right, Orton's out. I'm like, okay, that's not good. But this means we get a surprise. And it doesn't matter what context a surprise comes in. I like a surprise, right? I mean, unless it's like, you know, a bad surprise. But if it's something like a present or like, you know, something like that, or like a new person or a different movie or like something a downloadable content thing in a video game, whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'm excited for somebody new. And out comes Kane. I'm like, I've seen Kane 100 times.
You've almost seen him 1,000 times, which is why I'm so excited, because that if you like, these Germans have taken upon themselves to create a wrestling website like called cagematch.net. They measure, like, to give you an idea of how far back they go. They know how many matches Kane's wrestled as the Christmas creature, how many matches he wrestled as a Unabomber down in Puerto Rico. They have pictures of
him. Yeah, forever. I used to do a wrestling radio show. I used to do research for them. That was the website we actually used. They have like the longest matches. They have all kinds of things. Everything except for CMLL is the only one that they don't really have down there. But they have like all the Japanese stuff, every single thing going all the way back. So they've tallied it up, and Kane is apparently at like 1,000 matches in the WWE.
Oh, well, if you take into account dark matches and things like that, including his days back in Puerto Rico when he was a Unabomber, he's like almost at 3,000. If you take into account just his career as Kane, it is nearing 1,000. It's impressive, and so I really hope they do something where they mention it and they promote it, because it's
surprising because WWE never does that hardly with this new era of wrestling in the network. You know, they are just honestly trying to make everybody forget the past and only remember the present. And I often notice this in the pay-per-view, in the documentaries. Every wrestler says in the documentary, and I guarantee there's a guy saying there, say WWE, but I want to say WWF. No, say WWE. It's not WWE. It was WWF back in the day when we were wrestling back in the day. Well, we're changing everything. We got sued by a bunch of pandas, so we can't say WWF anymore.
The pandas didn't sue them. A bunch of pandas in like lawsuits being, what do you say? Just like eating bamboo, and like my client refuses to comment.
Yeah.
That's you.
Unrelated factoid: the pandas have actually been upgraded to vulnerable, so they're no longer endangered.
And you know, for the longest while, WWF was using that logo, and then suddenly World Wildlife Federation decided that they would want to sue WWE because they were using the same logo.
They've had the right to do so. They had the same thing from forever. Like, that is truly correct.
Yeah, and from what I can tell from what I've read, what happened was it was one of those weird scenarios where you had two people using the same acronym back when, and slowly, and when it first branched out, they both had the same initials, but they didn't really care that much. As the steroid scandal broke out, the WWF, like the wrestling company, struck a deal with the World Wildlife Fund that we can use the WWF logo in the US, no problem, but for internationally, because you're a World Wildlife Fund, you can use we'll not use our WWF logo there. So that deal was great, except the World Wrestling Federation completely ignored it once it started to become big in Europe. Like, what are they going to do? Go to Europe and have the WW not Federation compete at Wembley Stadium? No, they said like WWF. And so, again, this was one of the areas.
What are you talking about? You're trailing off. What the heck is your point?
Basically, the point was the WWE signed a bad deal, or WWF signed a bad deal where they would, in the US, they could call it the WWF, but they had to call it something different internationally. And so as the brand grew and became more popular internationally, they didn't keep to their original promise, and the World Wildlife Federation sued them. And then eventually the WWE said, or Vince McMahon said, you know what, we'd lose the case, so we might as well just change our name, give them some money, and we'll be on our way, and we'll be entertainment, not wrestling.
That's how did an American company become more popular overseas? Anyway, that's
Bret Hart.
No, that's a lie they made up. This is like that's one of their wrestling stories. Oh yeah, a wrestling book authored by the Prince of Lies, Vince McMahon. Are you for real? All right.
Yes, Vince McMahon is built on lies. He has a trunk of lies he carries.
No, I mean, just wrestling itself. Like, people come from places they've never come from before. They weigh weights they've never seen before. They're at heights they've never achieved. Like, it's all work. Anyway.
Some people appreciate Vince McMahon and some people hate Vince McMahon. They can spit out his name and some people can shake his hand.
Anyways. I think we're mostly done the matches. This pay-per-view was very, very short on matches and actual stuff. The next one was the Usos against, what's the face? They had to do their second match against, Slater and, what's his pants? Oh, Rhino. We did Rhino already. You said, yeah, it's just weird. What about, there's anyone, and we were going to ask that. Anyway, what about, chat's bizarre. Sorry. What about the what does anyone care about Heath Slater and these weird sketches with his dudes, and his kids and stuff? I'm not sure, because he's been there forever. It's not like he's like a guy who was unjustly fired and whatever. I'm just curious. Then we went from that and we did every match on the card except for AJ versus Dean, I think.
Yeah, that match I thought it was edgy. I thought it was on the I kept thinking that Dean, that he was gonna take back the championship, that he was gonna keep it. And through the whole entire night I'm watching and I'm like, okay. And then as soon as AJ did that, punched him in the balls, and I'm like, okay, he's not going to come back from this. And 1, 2, 3, oh, he's the champion now. I'm like, oh, suddenly now you can punch your opponents in the balls now in the WWE.
Well,
Wow.
the ref didn't see it. I mean, it would made sense in the context of a story that it just thought it was supposed to be your big, like, not cool, angry person, or not like what's it called, person you're angry at. So after this whole great match, he then kicks him in the testicles and cheats to win. It made sense, but I don't think this match was very, very good. I didn't think because I know the announcers have to say it, but was it an instant classic? I mean, let me know in the chat if you feel that way. Go right ahead.
I thought all tonight, I thought it was kind of, besides the women's division match, I thought it was decent, but all tonight I thought was lackluster. I really think that WWE needs to stop creating pay-per-views and sticking with their original pay-per-view formats. So people are just like, why is this Backlash? What do we have to get Backlash for? Exactly. And, now it's just like, just because you have two different brands, that doesn't mean you have to create two different pay-per-views now for your shows. I think it was a lot better back in the day when WWE had one format and they had one pay-per-view for SmackDown and Raw. I thought that combine them all together and keep them all together as one, and then keep them separate. They join for one night and then they separate. It's kind of like when you walk up to a hornet's nest and then they're gathered there for 1 second, then you take a baseball bat and wail on it, and then you run like heck.
That's such a southern U.S. thing for you to do.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm not really getting the. Why would you take a baseball bat? I don't know about hornet's nest and baseball bats. Anyhow, sorry, to go back to why they changed the name from WWF is because the World Wildlife Fund created their name and had the initials since 1967.
Okay. Tell your boring story, Mr. Lawyer. Go ahead.
And then the WWF, which is what it was originally known as, shortened their name to WWF in 1978 or 1976. And what happened was the Wildlife Fund didn't really care because at the time no one was going to confuse environmental fund with a wrestling company. If a giant 6'4" man came in saying, "I'm the toughest guy there is," they would just send him down and say, "You want to go to Stanford." And if somebody came in with a package of panda semen, anyway, the problem came when the steroid scandal broke out and when the WWE Attitude Era arose, where apparently the Wildlife Fund didn't want to be associated with a company where octogenarians gave birth to hands on live TV. So
think of the environment, think of the children. All right, check this out. Back to the conversation is apparently too dry. I will explain my points now with physical verbal imagery. Let's screen share this sucker. Can you see this?
So we can finally see all your tabs?
No, not all the tabs. The fingers to look at.
No, I don't see it. Hold on a second. Let's get you on screen share.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, I see it.
Cool. This is Alexa Bliss. All right. That's the Alexa Bliss doing some sweet moves. And then, who is she ripping off? Huh. This is it. Estrelita.
Are you sure it wasn't?
Positive. Now, there. That's the end of the screen sharing. Let's get back to this. All right, cover your eyes, children. It's going to be... all right, I can actually stop with this. There you go. Good. All right, but move on to AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose.
I thought that match was good.
We already talked about it.
Oh, well,
we weren't finished. I thought we weren't finished. I was watching Kerry with the Rad. Oh, everyone's back in now. Abba just got bored. I'm asked something. I think he's Judge Bud. All right, okay. I'm writing a small paper. I forgot to ask, how old are you? What? Jay Mitra? A small paper on what are you asking? Suplex is Dash Schmeed. My kids do not drink alcohol or liquor. It's based from your judgment, Tommy. My kids, so...
It is bad for your judgment.
All right. This voice to text crap is most of the time. What? Oh, I see. People are using voice to text, and it's messed up the chat. What do you guys think then? As a how long have we been at this? What do you guys think of the 45 minutes? What do you guys think of just wrestling in general? This idea of multiple pay-per-views and stuff. Do you think it was a good idea? because
I think it's a bad idea. I think it's one of the
what you
worst.
think. I was asking the chat.
I will disagree. Sorry, Tommy. I will respectfully disagree. Because SummerSlam I thought was a clusterfuck.
Watch the language.
Sorry, I was actually sorry. Sorry.
Now you're all flustered.
Yeah, fluster. Anyway, it was a
cluster fart. How about that?
It was not very good. I mean, just because, and also the order they had, like the WWE Championship match was defended in a match that people weren't really behind with Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. Like, I mean, that would have been a match that, like, even you who are a fan of both of them, like, this is a match where neither of them could really afford to lose because it would completely destroy their credibility, and by nature, someone would have to lose. And it was on in the middle of the show, and then you had the ugly belt unveiling, which it looks better now, but it's at the time. I mean, if you're going to unveil a brand new something, and it's kind of ugly, do it ahead of time so we get used to it. And so they did that, and the crowd chanted, "This is ugly." It was a good match, but like it did wreck the match for the most part.
I think it's funny when, you know, WWE is a PG show, and you hear the audience, holy, yes, holy, yes, holy, yes, and Vince McMahon has to be like, no, they can't say that. No, I have a PG product. No. And they're like, how can you get rid of that? Well, we could kind of dub over them and put some other stuff in there.
I think what bothers them more is when you say the C word with CM Punk. But that's one of the reasons why I love watching the Raw after WrestleMania is for the different chants. I think one of the things John Cena said when he was still doing his Vanilla Ice character was, I can't swear, so I get the crowd to swear for me. And his gimmick was he would end every rap before, like, you know, he used to do a rap before he would for his entrance. At the end of his rap, he would always say something that would end in a swear word. So like, my opponent sucks, like, and put the mic on.
You're boring. You're just recounting what happened now. Also, Maximus Minds just entered in, and he has like a Hypnotoad emoji as his avatar. All hail the Hypnotoad. Anyway, I like it. Anyway, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, it is the Hypnotoad.
You know, there's a movie. I mean, sorry to get off topic here. I was thinking about something, and Joe, there's a movie I want you to watch, and it's a kids movie. I used to watch this when I was little, but it's called Rockadoodle, and I think you should watch it at some point. It's very funny.
I've seen it. It's the one with the Elvis Rooster, right?
Yes, the Elvis Rooster. Oh, geez.
He's turned into a cat that's like the protagonist, or
yeah, and the first thing he says is like, yes, kittens are more digestible, and you're like, he's gonna eat the cat, which is the kid.
Well, the thing I remember most from the movie is the line the bad guys are being fended off because the good guys have a flashlight.
Yes.
The running out of batteries song is great.
The running out of batteries.
How do you remember this 15 years?
Well, I actually have it on VHS. I have it on VHS.
You watch it like you watched it 5 minutes ago. I have the darn thing. I haven't remembered that song in years. Anyway, we'll do it another day. So it's a typical TT, Tommy Talk. Oh, Tommy Talks. Yep.
No, this is not Tommy Talks format. Honestly, we this is kind of different. You know, this is wrestling reviewing. Tommy Talks is more interview, talking, and that's what Tommy Talks is. Not like this. Like people may think that it's conjostled, but I think it's well formatted.
Anyway, confuzzled. So AJ, Abba asks, have you talked about AJ being a transitional name, a transitional champ for the belt to be put back on Cena?
I think I want to see. Okay, here's the deal. I want to see Cena get the belt one more time, and then completely demolish the streak of the Nature Boy, and see Cena get the belt one more time and then retire. Honestly, I think Cena. Okay, a lot of people are gonna boo me for this, but Cena is a good, dedicated wrestler. He comes in, he does his matches, and he's there every single night. When he's booked, WWE missed out on their money bag, and they didn't book Cena tonight. So I'm guessing Cena's licking his wounds from losing. But I seriously doubt Cena needs the money with his 4 or 5 mansions and living in Orlando, Florida. I seriously doubt that he still needs to wrestle. But his love for the business. Why are you blue boxed? Sorry. I just.
You should blue box yourself, so you're always on the, in honesty. I mean.
Well, I wanted to be. Everybody's like, Tommy, you should be blue boxing. You should tell everybody. You should share the spotlight. And I'm like, okay. So everybody will stop biting my head off. I'll share I'll let other people be on cam. But since Judd is like a little circle with a jacket, it's like, and plus Judd has a naked man sitting next to him, a half naked man.
No, I do. No, I don't, Tommy. That's absurd, and that's a slanderous lie. There is no such person beside me.
Sorry, I heard something about a half naked man.
Apparently, Tommy believes there's a half naked man somewhere. Tommy,
I saw before the broadcast. We had to put Judd's turn. Well, I told Judd to turn his camera on, and then I see this half naked man standing next to him. I'm like, "Whoa, Judd, you have to shut your cam off because we can't show nudity on cam for YouTube."
Tommy's doing that classic thing where something funny happens off screen and then just tries to recreate the moment to people who weren't there. Anyway. No one should try to recreate. No, someone wasn't wearing a shirt. That's it. And Tommy's like, "Oh no, public nudity! I come from the U.S. Oh no!" Wait.
Hey, Judd, do that voice again.
What's that? That's the monkey. For those who want to know, it was somebody had just done a workout. That's all. I was putting a shirt on as I went by, and then Tommy was like, "Oh no!" Anyway, just so no one's confused. What's that? Why do you have a sock monkey?
Somebody sent this to me from MailBox Monday.
Why though?
No, he sent it as packaging.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, but I have a Facebook sticker thing. It's like Cocos or something. I don't know. It's a generic. I don't know the name of it, but it's a sock monkey type thing. Oh, it comes with a. Oh, yeah, you have more than one. Yay! And the wrestling. Anyhow, to go on.
We've gotten monstrously off topic. What was I? My father accuses chestnuts of being a nice war-torn soldier. That's such a good reference. My childhood was typical. Lose lessons.
You know what movie?
In the summer, we'd make meat helmets.
I'm sorry to get off topic again. I recently watched a movie on Netflix, The Usual Suspects. Very good movie.
That movie's forever ago, but yeah, it's a great movie.
Yes. Kaise Soze. Who was Kaise Soze? The biggest trick that the devil tried to prove that he was real.
No, it's the greatest trick the devil ever played was that he didn't exist.
Oh, I thought the line was he tried to prove that he existed.
No, that's what? No, the line. Go ahead.
That wouldn't be a very good trick. I mean, if you fell for the trick, then everyone knows that he's real and they won't sin anymore. If you don't fall for the trick, then I mean, he wins, but at the same time, he's.
The point is, Tommy, you didn't watch the movie closely enough. No. He barely watched it. He must have had one eye closed.
I sat there and watched the whole movie, and I was at the end. I'm just like, all I'll say is just like, holy fudge, really?
Anyway, we went to spoil a movie. My only problem though with Ambrose and AJ is this kind of felt like Timothy. If anyone's a boxing fan, this kind of felt like Timothy Bradley. Jose Sanders says talk about UFC. Well, I'm going to drop in boxing. We can talk about UFC at the end for a minute if you want, because I did watch that too. But this felt like Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao, where Pacquiao is clearly the international star and all of that stuff. Because like AJ Styles has wrestled all over the globe, and he's been a superstar everywhere he went. Whereas Ambrose was just an American indie guy who's been pushed really hard by the US promotion WWE, and he just doesn't look. This is my opinion from watching it. Is that he seemed kind of out of sorts with AJ Styles. I thought he was overmatched. Then we can go into UFC with Punk and some other stuff, and then maybe end off here.
I thought that
what aggravates me is how
marinara sauce. People say Bloon Schleppy, Cool Cat for some reason.
Shirtless people.
People who don't put their shirt off in time.
The brand extension.
The brand extension. Vince McMahon. What else did we do? Crushing cans.
Sarcasm. Give it up for sarcasm. Ladies and gentlemen, sarcasm. Give it up.
No, I'm being honest. Crushing cans. What else did you do? Timmy MC's videos. Keemstar. Leafy. What else have you complained about?
You've talked again.
Everyone who's not Roman Reigns.
You like Roman Reigns?
No, he adores Roman Reigns. Can't stand CM Punk.
Oh well, I can't stand him either. So I can't.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, the character, I don't respect the character, but I do respect the man behind CM Punk. You know, I do think that he got a raw deal. The man behind CM Punk. I think that'd be an interesting if he was to write a book to call it "The Man Behind CM Punk."
Okay.
Someone in the chat wants to tell you you're cool.
And are you going to Kroger's? I don't know. What is Kroger's an American thing?
Kroger ants were the South African currency, but was made out of solid gold. So if you bought a bunch of them, you could end up with a lot of money nowadays. But I think they've long since been discontinued.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, man. But what was your initial opinion of the pay-per-view tonight?
I thought it was much, much better than SummerSlam. It was more of a coherent show. Granted, I only saw the bookends of it, but it opened strong, it finished strong, and hopefully it's not a setup for Cena's next title win. That would be terrible. But I think, and it showed why the brand extension might be a good idea, because you got new talent over who would not have gotten a chance to win titles if the companies were combined.
All right. Well, Captain Mushmouth, I kind of disagree with you. I agree with you in the sense that the first part was really good. I thought the first part was way better, and the ending was better. There's a lull in the middle, and at the end it got good, but it wasn't as good as the first few matches. As to people ending up with new titles, I don't know what that means yet. We'll have to see, because we don't know how they'll be reflected and respected and valued as we go on, because they've just been introduced today.
The lull in the middle of which you speak was when I was having a very delicious dinner and beer. So that lull was quite nice.
I really enjoyed you just enjoyed what you were eating at the time. Anyway.
Yes, I
did. Noam Chomsky's, what was your initial impression?
Noam, did you just call me a gnome?
No, Noam Chomsky. It's a reference to Noam Chomsky, but with your name.
Oh,
now you've killed it.
I didn't get it either.
No one gets Judd. Judd is so likable you can punch him in the face.
If anyone got the Noam Chomsky reference when I said Noam Chomsky, please message me in the chat. Put one in the chat.
Judd's difficult just talking to him on the computer screen. I can't imagine how difficult to work with Judd in person is.
Oh man, because you're such an easy person to work with, Tommy.
Yes, I'm
read this for me. Type this for me. No swearing. Don't mention the following things. All right. Roy Rogers, great name, says one. A guy named Nick says one. Nerds Rule 329 says hi as we're closing. I always love it. There's one guy's like, "What's going on, guys? We're closing the restaurant."
Yeah.
Well, folks, I just want to say I thought tonight was a tad bit lackluster. The women's match was decent. The Ambrose match and AJ Styles match. It was, back and forth. It was good wrestling, decent styles. I just thought it was a tad lackluster when AJ won, but I have to say that it was decent, but not decent. It was kind of like, I would say, lackluster.
We got a few more housekeeping things to do. Everyone wants us to talk about CM Punk and the UFC. We'll close with that. Roy Rogers wants to get wings. What flavor of wings should he get? Where are you getting them from? And we'll help you as a group and a chat. Same theory. We'll help you out getting your wings. I always go with barbecue or hot or whatever the hottest they have on the menu is. Anyway, because hot is mild, as we've found out. If anyone ever eaten hot wings before, hot is mild. Mild is mild, and then hot is super flaming death hot or whatever. Super hot is like the hottest.
Basically, for the CM Punk UFC thing, you knew what you felt going into it. Either you respect the man for his willingness to go into an area where he follow his dreams, even though they will almost certainly end in absolute ruin, which they kind of did, but he still walked out of it with a smile on his face, even though he was beaten up. And does that make him a winner? Well, no, it doesn't. But the point is he having fun, and go ahead, do what you got to do. Whatever makes you happy, go ahead and do it. Especially if you get a bunch of people a bunch of money while doing it.
Yeah, people in the chat are saying ghost pepper wings. Ghost peppers kind of suck though, Ranger Danger. And then Nick says lemon pepper wings. If you already knew, man, why'd you ask?
Yes, ghost peppers suck. I hate ghost. No, yeah. I honestly hated that whole entire challenge.
Do it again. There's more peppers to go. That's only 7th. You have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You should do like one a month.
Judd, you learned your lesson. And you said to me, I'm never doing another ghost pepper. I'm never doing another pepper challenge after what you did yourself. And so
I said that?
Did you say never ghost pepper? Because that would be, he technically has an out there because there's new peppers that are hotter than ghost pepper.
Yeah, if I say never ghost pepper, that doesn't mean I said never peppers. That just means never ghost peppers. Anyway. Jay is erroneously claiming that Tommy has took his pants off a few minutes ago in the live stream. No, that's not true. That didn't happen.
Okay, I'll prove to you that I am wearing pants. I just don't have my shirt tucked in. Here.
Greatest live stream. I will prove to you I'm wearing pants. Quote of the year.
I just don't have my shirt. I don't have my shirt tucked in. Okay? I have pants. I am wearing pants. I just decided to look like the professional businessman from the waist up and then shirt untucked.
Not tucking in your shirt? That's very unprofessional of you.
Actually, I thought the professional thing to do over a video chat was to not wear pants. I thought that the entire thing was that I have the confidence to not stand up. You're just sitting there like, yeah, I'm in my boxers, but that's to give me the confidence down below and the breezy thing to stay formal while still looking presentable and professional up top.
Yeah, if you're not Skyping without pants on, I don't know why you're Skyping. No, there's actually a guy.
Chat roulette.
There's actually a guy in Toronto who does
the
news. No, I'm serious. Who does the news, but under the desk he doesn't wear pants. That's a joke. So I'm told from one of the people who works production there.
How about this? I'm Roger Briscoe, and I'm telling you the news. And the one thing you should know is I'm a professional. And then the guy's like underneath the desk. He's like, he's not wearing pants.
Yep.
The sound guy.
This chat took a turn for the first.
Oh, wasn't there something gag in Ron Burgundy where they switched the desk? So normally he doesn't wear pants underneath it, but he didn't realize that they had changed the desk so that you could actually see through it. Anyway.
I can't remember exactly. I just remember, hello, I'm Ron Burgundy. And you stay classy, Chicago.
San Diego. Speaking of Chicago, though, what did you guys think of CM Punk? I want to know what you guys
I didn't watch the. I'm glad I didn't waste my money to watch that. So honestly, I didn't really watch it.
Wasn't a waste though, because the other fights were good. The one with what's his name, Fabian Verdun or whatever his name, that was pretty good. And the heavyweight fight was superb, I thought.
Sorry. Verdun's the fight was the opening 4 seconds of the fight were amazing. The guy rushes in and jumps up and kicks a guy in the face like it's like a martial arts movie. You're like, whoa! And then that's it. They just basically spend the rest of the fight not fighting because one of them is like the best jiu-jitsu fighter in the world. So whenever he got knocked down and the heavy hitter got a chance to go down and finish him, he was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to the ground with the best like jiu-jitsu person in the world. And then
something interesting, in any WWE match or any boxing match or anything like that, you don't even have to have the sound on. You honestly can just mute it and watch the actions of what's going on. You're like, oh, that guy hit that guy. Oh, that guy hit him. Oh, he just slammed him to the ring. Honestly, sometimes you don't even have to, you can honestly just mute the TV and not listen to the jibber jabbers of Michael Cole and the other wrestlers. And by the way, what happened to King? Where is
Booker T? Where the commentators who are put out to pasture, which is actually it's on the pre-show with Lita, who I think was also a commentator for a very brief spell on Sunday Night.
I just think they don't want to have Lawler have a heart attack again on Raw again.
The action's too exciting. He mentioned that in the pre-show. It's a pretty good comment. He said he beat Dolph Ziggler the night he had a heart attack. So when he had one foot in the grave, Ziggler couldn't put him away. And I was like, that is pretty sweet. That's such a sweet line. Anyway,
that's out of place as well for his character, but that is just too good of a line to pass.
It was interesting that he had a match that night and fought for the title and then got out of the ring and then was like, oh, has a heart attack. You're like, that's pretty strong of a guy that do that, to fight a match and not drop dead in the ring and be this close to the WWE Championship and then get out of the ring, have a massive heart attack.
He wasn't wrestling for the championship at that point.
Yes, he was.
He might have been.
Jerry Lawler was not wrestling. He was fighting CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler in a tag match with Randy Orton, and he collapsed the announcer's table while Kane and Daniel Bryan competed against the primetime players. He was not wrestling for a championship.
I thought he was.
No.
I think he wrestled for a championship at some point fairly during somebody else's reign, maybe even during Dolph Ziggler's, but it wasn't on Heart Attack night.
One of my all-time favorite King matches would be at WrestleMania where they made Michael Cole suck the foot of Michael. They made Michael Cole suck King's foot. With the barbecue sauce, the JR barbecue sauce.
That was a reference to a much better match, which he had with Bret Hart. I mean, of all the Jerry the King Lawler matches, throughout his Memphis career, Crusher Blackwell, everybody he's ever faced, you picked the announcer of all his matches, that one?
Oh, yeah.
That's absurd, Tommy.
Well, my favorite thing was, as a kid growing up, I remember the prelude to the Kiss My Foot match was he had a thing where he brought in, refreshments for all the heel wrestlers, and he was at ringside, and then wanting to give all the bad guys the refreshments, but not the good guys. Anywho, and he spent the entire weeks leading up to it. The promos were that he was keeping his feet as nasty and disgusting as he could. As a young kid growing up, it was the best. Just something you could really get behind. Oh, also, side note while we're on feet and kissing feet, did you know that Rob Van Dam kissed the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's foot in a WWE event?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, we're talking about kissing feet and wrestlers. It's the only other one, and if not now, Judd, when? When can I mention Rob Van Dam kissing Ted DiBiase's foot?
I don't think you ever were supposed to. Anyway, I like that Jason Jordan Wait, them being at the conventional weekend is also why Alexa Bliss had the Harley Quinn makeup. AJ being so nice is probably why the crowd there booed Andros. The crowd was very AJ biased. Haha. All right, fair enough, Pixel. I still think she's making. It looks like it reminded me of Estrelita, but maybe that's just me. Oh man, but it's obviously a reference to Harley Quinn. Oh man, all that Mankind drama was classic. What Mankind drama?
This is SmackDown.
What are you talking about?
You know,
SmackDown.
Honestly, I have to say one thing I like about the WWE Network right now is that new Holy Foley. Show. I think it's kind of really comical.
I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen one clip of the Gobbledygooker, and from his book, I remember mentioning a scene where he's there. It's not the first time they've experimented with a reality TV show. They actually got an offer from E, and they did a few pilot episodes. And one of the things was, I think Noelle Foley asked her dad for, like, she needed to go and buy, like, shorts and stuff. And she's like, he gave her a $10 bill, and she just gave him, like, look like, are you serious? Like, just like, what is this, the 1950s? You can't buy a pair of shorts for $10.
Why? Oh, one last question. Yeah. Abba Zabba says, Judd, can you ask Tommy why hasn't Mick Foley back on? Mickey Foley back on?
I'm guessing because he's wrapped up with Holy Foley, and because he's probably been really busy with that. WWE probably keeps him cut off from outer conversations with the show being on air on the network right now. So I'm guessing that's the reason. I tweeted him. Actually, I tweeted Mickey Foley. I said, "Hey, how are you doing, buddy?" And no response yet. But he's probably been busy with doing the show with his father.
You're being ghosted by Mickey Foley.
Right. Well, the other thing as well is I think Dewey became a writer with the WWE, which leads to an interesting thing where I would love to be a fly on the wall, because there got to be some interaction between the two, and like he's very excited to have his dream job writing for WWE, but it also must be a bit weird and having discussions about your dad as a character on the broadcast. Like if you're trying to write a TV show and it's like, okay, and then some wrestlers like, do you want to be really cool if, and they mention your dad did this, and you're like, yeah, that's my dad. Weird.
Booking him in all these. I want my dad hit with a steel chair, and then I want someone else to hit him with a steel chair. Yeah, he's like putting your dad in things just to bug him.
Well, I've watched a few episodes. You just have to watch it and see what happens. I'm just wondering if this is actually, he's actually a writer, or if this is actually just a thing for the show.
Well, the thing is, Mick Foley discussed this because I think there were some rumors going around, and he just wanted to say about the situation. And so this was from a few years ago. I think he was a writer. I think the whole him going in for his first day at work was a bit of a work. Hey, anyway, but from what I can tell and from what I've heard, he's actually a writer on the show. The one thing I want to see, and I know it's a stupid pun, but I live for stupid puns, is I really want to see him meet Kane, just so we can have somebody say Kane, Dewey, Kane, just for the full circle reference. Oh, thank God you got this.
Sorry. Oh God.
Oh, you liked it. Oh, wow.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. Allergies. Oh God. Oh, thank you so much for that. But folks, I'm gonna end the show now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is. Oh God.
Yeah, we can't.
And also, they're on a thing for a while, but the link is in the description below for check out the Bait and Sketch show on Wednesdays at 8:00, 8:30. They're going to be off for a while. The season finale recently just happened. You can go watch that. I'm at the end of the episode singing a song for the Bait and Sketch show.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Judd, for being on. Sorry.
No worries. Thank you for having me and my brother, or surrogate Judd.
Thank you. And as always, I'm Tommy NC 2010, and I'm
right.
keeping you on the inside. In fact, subscribe, support, stay positive.